I don't have an actual model number on these, but these are Redington wading boots, felt sole. I can tell now, I hadn't picked these up and looked at these like this, but the sole, I'll probably put a beating on the sole on these. They're really worn down. This is the best pair. I've only had 2 pairs of wading boots before, but the other pair was Redington. They wore out pretty quick. These right here have made it through some pretty tough fishing so far. I mean, I've worn these for the last 2 years, and they're really holding up, pretty good. I mean, I actually bought me another pair and I couldn't find any more. If I could find another pair like these, I'd go ahead and get them. I'd go ahead and get another pair of these if I could find them. I think it's like a lot of things, like I found with Timberlands, you see they're a little dirty. I've been really wearing them, man. I've been fishing quite a few times this year. And man, like I said, if I didn't say it already, I think I did. These are the best boots I've ever had. I grew up wearing, we wore hip boots. Proline was, our pretty much go-to for several years there. We wore the Proline hip boots to wade fish for trout here in North Carolina. But I started getting into these, and I've said it, and it's not, I don't mean jokingly, but I've said it several times, in the last couple of years, because I've only been doing it for 2 or 3 years now. I mean, I went for a brief history on my fishing. I started fishing probably around 1980, 80, 81, somewhere in there. Of course, now, and then I fished through from the 80s, not nothing like I do now. I was just a kid going with my dad when I could. We didn't get to go all that much. But because we lived, 4 hours away, 4 or 6 hours away from where we was going fishing at the time, Cherokee. But I don't even remember what kind of boots I was wearing then. I probably had chest waders. To tell you the truth, I really can't even remember what kind of waders I wore when I was a kid. But when I got on into age, in the mid-'80s, we started fishing pretty serious. My dad did especially, not me so much. I really didn't like it at the time. But now it's my true love, what I fell in love with, and, my passion. But we started wearing the hip boots. And I don't remember exactly what kind, if we had Remingtons but there came a time where we were going with those Prolines. They seemed to hold up the best, and they were easier to get on and off, all of that. I've had different brands. Lacrosse. I remember my dad had chest waders, lacrosse chest waders when I was a kid. But I've gotten into these Kyle Booker, and what I was going to say a while ago, I've said it kind of not jokingly, but for the last couple of years I've said it. I'm serious. I wish my dad could have lived to see this setup, because at the end, towards the end of his life, towards the end of his fishing, he got to where he couldn't get around that good and all of that stuff. And he really had trouble getting his boots on and off, bending over, it can be tedious. When I was in my prime, man, fishing, I live my life now just amazed that, really realizing that my best days are behind me, man. I'm getting older now, and I've said it a few times on videos lately, like, hopping up down that creek. I fell down a couple of times in the lake. I mean, everybody's gonna fall. I've fallen several times during my career. I fell when I was in my prime. Just busted my butt out there. I remember, and took a picture of it. I landed on my butt. I mean, put a big old bruise, bigger than a grapefruit. But my dad would have really loved the setup that we got right now, because these are so easy to get. I don't know why we were slow to, conform to this or whatever. But the Kyle Booker hip boots. With these wading shoes, of course, it's going to cost a little more than what it used to cost us, but everything costs more now, and it's such a good setup, man. I just love it. I just can't get enough of these, man. And you could, of course, you can, you can wear, chest waders, the stocking foot chest waders or whatever with these, of course. I got another pair of boots now, because I figured the first pair of Redingtons I had, when I wore those, I fell in love with them. Then I got these. And I was like, man, I felt like I was floating on air the first day I wore these things, man. And I'm like, man, these are even better than the first ones. And they are. The first ones lasted me, I think, for 1 year. And I talked to somebody recently, and they told me that these boots, it's kind of what they do, is they last about a good year of fishing. Like I say, I've just been using them for maybe about the last 3 years. And I've got 3 pairs of boots now, and I've only worn 2 pairs. The 1 pair that I wore the first year, and I probably wore them into the second year. So they really started. They were Redingtons, and they were good boots. I really liked them and all. They did fine walking, but they wore out quick to me. You know, because I didn't fish that much that year. This year I fished a lot more. Then last year I started wearing those, and then I put these on mid-season. So I've worn these for a whole year now, I would say, of, you know, fishing, which obviously, you know, didn't fish in the winter or whatever, but I wore these the second half of last year, which I didn't fish much, and then I wore them a bunch of times this year. And you can see they're starting to wear out. That's where they're starting to wear out, is right there. That's what happened a lot to the other pair I had, and that happened more on the even actually on the outside, whereas I don't know what it is, losing that coating or something. Well, I don't know. And those other ones I had, actually, another thing that they did that I still hadn't figured out, some pebbles got in them some kind of way. I mean, it's a long story. I can't even explain. It's one of those crazy things that happens fishing that you wonder, how in the world did this even happen, man? Because they're in there, and it's like they're in the shoe. It's not like something that happened from gravel guards or whatever. They're actually in the sole. I thought I was going to tell, they were bothering me one day. It was crazy. They were bothering me one day, and I'm like, well, I'm going to take these off. I'm going to go ahead and take these off. I stopped. I got mad. You know, that's probably on one of my videos. It's probably on one of my videos that probably shows it. I'm like, I'm going to stop. I'm going to go ahead and take these off. I did. Pulled them off. I'm thinking I'm going to dump some pebbles out. And I go to digging around there, and I find out they're embedded in the shoe somehow. I know you think I'm crazy. But it wasn't long after that I started wearing these bad boys, and now I got a pair of Allens that I hadn't worn yet. You know, I hope I don't have to wear those this year, but I'll probably break them in next year, and you know, I'll give you a review on them. They look pretty nice. I'll probably review those in the condition that they're in now, brand new, and then as I wear them, maybe I'll come back and show. But Redington, I don't know about the Allens. I got them because I couldn't find another pair of these. I don't want to come into a situation where I don't have something to, if the sole came off of this today, I don't want to be stuck. I want to have a backup plan always for fishing. So I went ahead and got me another pair, and like I say, I'll probably review those, but I can say for sure, undoubtedly, I've only worn 2 pairs of this type of style wading shoe, but these are the best ones I've ever had. I wish I could find another pair of these. I would buy them. I would buy 2 more pairs of them if I could find them. But I think, you know, what I found out with boots and stuff and shoes and all everything, now retro to Jordans, like I'm, you know, making the Air Jordan videos and all, but with a lot of boots, I find that you just can't get another pair of them for whatever reason. They quit making. They did that with Timberlands. I would find the ones I like, and then they would just cut that out and quit making that style. But anyway, these are good boots. Redington. I stand by them. They're solid as a rock, man.